On Monday, September 11th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the record show all selectmen are present. Consent agenda, warrant number 5, 8/23/23, number 6, 8/28/23, payroll register number 35, 8/31/23, and number 36, 9/7/23.
Okay.
I have a motion, we have a second to accept. And a second to accept the warrant and payroll registers as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter D, acceptance of the minutes of the select board meeting on August 28, 2023.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from August 28, 2023 select board meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the select board meeting on August 28, 2023. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Old business, letter E, old business, number 1, follow up on selectmen's concerns from immediately preceding meeting. Mr. Moody, where will the money come from for the repairs to the Old Point School? And question number 2, when will we have a discussion on the purchase order policy? I think I can answer question 2 tonight. Question 1.
Question 1, the money from the Old Point, for the Old Point School will most likely come out of the ARPA funds that were dedicated for building maintenance. And currently there's $53,000 left in there right now.
Is that going to be plenty to cover everything, Denise?
It's going to cover, yes, all the repairs and maintenance that's going to be related to the sewer plug and repair to the pipes and everything like that. If it goes to 10,000, there's enough to cover it. It may push the heat pumps for Weston Avenue, the office building. It may push the heat pumps off to next fiscal year, but
Okay.
we got to deal with this emergency.
Yes.
All right, and question 2, we're all set, Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Estes, can we get details on the budget adjustments from previous fiscal year? Are they just corrections, or did the town have to realign budget resources for more than carry forwards?
These were all carry forwards. There were mostly non-capital carry forwards, and there were 3 capital carry forwards. So there were no this is from July 1 of 22, adjusting for June 30, 22. So these are the previous fiscal year's adjustments.
Okay. All right, number 2, Old Point School updates. Peter's excavation begin Monday, September 11th. I don't know if they did or not, or
They did, and I have some pictures, and I'll pass them around to you. They have started the digging out front, and they expect to be done within a day or 2.
okay. All right, corrections for the sewer and storm drain utility easements behind the town office. Year ago, I believe that's engineering,
Yes,
failed to include the signature page, no vote required, notification only.
that's correct. So we're just waiting for Dirigo to redo the paperwork so that we can actually sign off on those easements behind the town hall.
Okay. All right, number 4, procurement policy to include purchase orders for expenditures over 500.
The finance director and I worked on this. We looked at a couple that were purchasing policies for other municipalities. And the section that is most of interest is section 2.9, which is a new definition for purchase order. There were no definitions for purchase order before. A form, a PO specified by the purchasing agent for purposes of identifying the vendor, items to be purchased, quantities, prices, terms, and budgetary accounts to be charged. It must include the fiscal year, the budget department, the PO sequence number, and the date the product or service is needed by. And then section 12.1.1 is the actual policy part that deals with when is a purchasing order going to be required and how is it going to be used. And the discussion we had was that anything that was over $500 is what needed to be, have a requisition or a purchase order. And so there's situations where it happens, it might be an emergency, and if it's an emergency, then the department head needs to contact me immediately to get the verbal approval, and then we'll bring it before the board to get the board's post approval.
Right.
Otherwise, if it is a written estimate as opposed to an actual cost, then they need to provide that estimate in writing, whether it's an email or fax or whatever, it just needs to be in writing. The department head will provide that to the town manager, and I will pass it on to Jill, and she'll reconcile those purchase orders once a month. Any errors or omissions she'll bring to my attention. And so, in no instance may a purchase order be approved if there are insufficient funds appropriated in the budget, unless it comes before the select board and the select board says, we need to do it and we'll find the money. And then the exceptions to this part of the purchase order policy is anything that's already previously exempted in section 5.21, and as well as contracted services and payroll. Those have already been dealt with. Any
All right.
questions?
Any questions on the purchase order? I was gonna say payroll, but it's purchase order. Changes. All right.
There are, before you vote though, there are a couple other minor corrections that we've made, and I'd like to point you to page 3. There's a section that starts with the word if, and this was unclear to me, so I'm looking for clarification from you. If the town manager does not feel that the obligation of funds is appropriated, that's the way that it was previously worded, I want to know, does that mean it has been appropriated, or it's not an appropriate expenditure? So that's why that section on page 3 is in highlight. Just, I want to get some clarification. I don't need that right now, but if you can think about it.
So that would put you in conflict with the person putting in the purchase order, correct?
It could,
It could,
yes.
yeah.
So if the department head submits a purchase order for something that has not been appropriated in the budget, and I reject that purchase order, they have the right to appeal it to the board.
Any comments on that?
That's the way it should be.
I think that's the way it should be. You're supposed to be the overseer of that, and I think if you don't see that it was appropriated in the budget, then,
Okay,
and if there's a conflict, then they can bring it to the board, I guess. But-
okay. So the section that's highlighted that says or is appropriate, I'm gonna strike that because that is not the intent of the board.
Right.
It's only, it's not up to me to make that judgment whether it's an appropriate expense or not. It's only to be decided if it has been appropriated.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So we plan on voting on this in the next meeting? Is that-
I will have a fresh copy for you guys to vote on next
Alright.
meeting.
I have a question. In regards to the 12.1, you stated that the finance officer would do the purchase orders on a monthly basis, right? She would verify them monthly?
She's gonna reconcile them monthly.
So, but every 2 weeks, there's an AP warrant. So, I'm just asking, I don't know, how does that work if it's an AP warrant and,
She'll match it up to the purchase order.
right?
She'll match up, the department head is supposed to bring in the invoices,
Mhm.
and for payment, and she will match those invoices up with the purchase order. And at the end of the month, she's not gonna pay them just at the end of the month, she'll pay them every 2 weeks like she's doing now.
Right,
But at the end of the month, she'll reconcile anything that is not,
he owes
In
it
agreement.
outstanding? Is
Yeah,
that what you-
yes,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
All right, so we'll look to vote on that next meeting. So if anybody has any questions before that, please get them to the town manager. All right, number 5, ACO status.
there has been another candidate that's come forward. The folks that had submitted the proposal at the last meeting have withdrawn their proposal. But the new candidate has already been hired by Skowhegan, and they're doing the background check on him, and we can share their services.
Oh, good.
So, I have his application, and I'm waiting to hear back from Chief Bucknam in Skowhegan as to make sure that his background check passes, and then we'll proceed with the, moving that one along.
That's very good. All right, number 1, recap of mandatory commissioners meeting with the recreation committee. I believe that did not happen, correct?
It did not happen. Not everyone could attend. Myself and Chairman Venziano met with the co-directors, Christy LeBlanc and Amber Noyes, on Friday afternoon, and we discussed, did I bring my notes? I did bring my notes. We discussed many things, but one of them in particular was how are we going to pay for maintenance on the fields? And so they decided they had a couple of proposals. They looked at the proposals, they found the one that was most favorable to the town, and Chairman Venziano and I both agreed that that was the way to go, so that's how they're gonna move forward. And then there's also another proposal to fix and maintain the fences and other pieces of property equipment that needs to be taken care of, so that's also gonna be done.
I mean, they're moving forward. The
They
two
are
people
moving forward.
forward. They're dealing with this year, and I think that they're getting the budget in their minds, how they can, in the next budget, move things so
Yep.
it can be a little more usable
Yep.
and a little more friendly to them. So they will meet again, I believe, the
I thought it was the 26th, maybe?
26th, I believe, yes, yeah. So they're moving forward, and it's slow and probably frustrating for them, but they're getting there.
And then there was, the chairman of the Recreation Committee, Joe Hayden, met with me and wanted to know where we could put the ice rink this year. And we discussed the backside of the lot for 55 Weston, and I reached out to Sam Height, and he said that was not gonna be a problem at all. So I'll let Joe know that that's gonna work.
Maybe also get to reach out to Marty, see if they can help with the lights and the moving the building.
Okay.
Get pretty good at that. The building's on its last leg, but hopefully we can.
So they moving it back where the horseshoe pits were?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully the building can make the trip. I'm not sure it can. What's that? You're optimistic.
It's got a lot of ice skates in it, so.
Yes.
So that's all I have on the rec department.
All right, so we have a town manager's received a request to reopen 20 Park Street bid process. Could you fill us in?
Sure. I've had 2 people come forward saying that they want to bid on it. And having the bid already closed, I couldn't accept any proposal from them. So I went back to the tax program and calculated what the current outstanding taxes and interest is right now. Not counting the sanitary water and Madison Electric, the taxes owed plus interest is $4,661.16. That doesn't include the $16,600 that we paid to have that lot cleaned up. So if we were to set a minimum bid, it should cover the taxes and the cleanup. That would be $21,292.94.
And I think that's what we discussed prior to you coming on board, that sell it for what we had invested in it,
Mhm.
so that the town got its money back. We discussed that
Okay, but
before.
does that include the sanitary and the water?
It does not. That cost does not include sanitary and water.
I don't think we can leave them behind. I don't know. I'm not convinced of that. What's the?
So I think it's hard to leave them behind. I agree with that 100%. However, you're talking about a piece of property that is in town. I gather, I know it has sewer and it has water and all that, but I've seen property with more acreage, it's in the country, that obviously does not have that, and it's for less money than this that we're asking. And these people that are purchasing this, they cannot get a loan against that piece of property. And it would be a hard find for them to even get if they wanted to put a trailer or a double wide in there, I would highly doubt that they would be able to get a loan, because the property is on a quitclaim deed, and for 5 years, it has no value. So if you set something else on it, it's just, so you're talking somebody who might not be able to get a loan to put anything on that, if that's what they chose to do. I mean, I have no idea what these people are looking to do.
Well, one gentleman was looking to move a new trailer onto that lot. And I think he said he was going to try to put the slab in, of course, that he needs that to put the trailer on. And then another gentleman basically said the same thing, he was looking to put a trailer on it, so I think it's gonna be 6 of one, half dozen of the other. With the utilities, and this is not including any interest on those utilities since this document was made, that would be $27,336 and 12 cents.
I think that's why we set that
27.5.
27.5 minimum price. And if we're gonna do this, I'd like to open this up to everybody again. I don't wanna just deal with the two people that you're talking about. I don't know who they are, and I don't wanna know who they are.
Yeah.
But I think we need to open it up again, because we're gonna get ourselves in hot water again, if we don't. I'm for staying at 27,500, but I will go along with whatever the board, the majority decides.
I think that's why we sat on it, because we didn't get it.
Right. Right, I mean, it hasn't been that long since we sat on it, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll continue sitting and we might get it.
The reason, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lee, I can wait.
The reason that we're bringing it to you now is so that if we give it a 30-day process to open the bid, then we still have time, whoever bids, and if they're a successful bidder, then they have time before the first frost to do something with it.
So,
I agree with the 27.5 and what you're saying and everything. I'm just curious of how much of an obligation do we have to see that the sewer and that place gets their money?
what?
I mean, we obligated
I
to,
think we're partners in this, right? I mean, aren't we partners with the other town departments? I know we do not control them, but we're partners with them. I mean, I just think that it's
if so,
probably not gonna be,
can they soften that bill so it'd be more attractive?
well, I think there's no reason we can't ask.
You want me to reach out to them and see if they can minimize that, take the interest off or something?
Something.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah. Just to show good faith.
I'm not very smart at this stuff, but as a piece of property that size in the town limits, what are they selling for?
More than that.
So why do we wanna take less than that?
That's what I've said. I
Yeah,
agree
I
with
don't-
27.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I'd like to, I don't know if you know any real estate people, but they might be able to help
One
us
or
a little
two.
bit and figure that out.
Okay, I will find out.
Yeah.
We have a comment from former Selectman Ducharme. The town has historically included any amounts owed to water and sewer in minimum bids, so that there were no outstanding municipal loans on the property after the sale.
Yes, I think I know the sanitary district can put a lien on the building, on the property.
And so can water.
But the town
Yeah.
supersedes.
Water turn it off.
They can turn it off, but they can also, I think there was a new thing within the last
Oh,
few
really?
years
Oh.
that they have been able to
Okay.
start to lean. That's what I
So-
think that, I'm not 100%
So that's not
sure,
gonna,
but they
that's-
can turn it off.
that's not gonna help anybody if we come out of this with a lien on that property.
No.
We trump the liens, any lien that's,
But once ours is done though, is there,
we trump those, so therefore, theirs are done, theirs are gone, theirs have disappeared too.
they're not gonna like us.
Yeah.
Please.
As they say.
But if they already, just say their lien was already ahead of ours, and they took that property themselves, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, okay,
Right.
just like the town, that's how the town always used to be too.
Right.
They sometimes took it and other times didn't. Or if they didn't take it, then they're not, and they didn't claim ownership, then eventually when our liens mature, we now trump theirs. That was their,
Right,
you know,
that's fine.
their loss, I
Yeah.
mean, you
But
know.
I'd like to start with seeing if they'll reduce those and
Okay.
then what a piece of property would cost
Okay.
if somebody was buying that on the market.
Also,
Do you-
too, if the people who are purchasing it were wise, they would certainly have a title search done to see what's on it for
Yeah.
bids, which that would show everything.
Yeah.
And, then go from there. If the water and sewer have liens, I know they will lien, at least they have in my experience, that we used to see them a lot, so.
Alright.
And tax liens and the whole nine yards. Obviously, the bank pays the taxes and all of that if it's.
Right.
It's mortgaged or anything,
Right.
just so that the town doesn't take it before the bank does, but, yeah, I've seen sewer and water liens before.
Yeah, they do, and that's part of their process.
Absolutely, that's how they get money.
I've never heard of the water lien, but I've heard of the
See,
sewer.
the- Right, the water can lean, but then they can shut off too, so
I try to stay ahead of that.
Would you like to table this until the next meeting and I'll come back with more
Yeah, I
information?
think we need to. All right, number 3, Living Well in Madison report week ending 9/3/23, and I believe we have it in our packet.
You have it in your packet, and you also, I think I handed out 910 as well,
Yes,
so if you have any questions about that.
sounds good. All right, G, new business, quick claim deed, municipal quick claim deed with no covenants for Alan and Karen Franzosi.
Yes, this one's gonna require signatures. Tris put it together and asked me to get it to you folks.
So first we're looking for a motion to award the quick claim deed.
So I motion to, go ahead with the quick claim deed for Alan and Karen Franzosi.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to award a quick claim deed, municipal quick claim deed with no covenants to Alan and Karen Franzosi. Any questions? Yes.
So did they pay the full amount of the taxes, is that what they did?
I believe so, I think it's in that folder,
Oh, okay.
because they were all the previous years had zeros.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, building use policy. Draft.
Draft, yes. I think this is something that Mitch did before he left. I don't know if this is already part of where he got this section 738-2, municipal conference room fee for non-government use. I don't know if that's something that he made or if we already had that.
I believe that is in the policy booklet.
Okay, so he expanded that to say, the board recognizes the importance of available space. what the terms of the agreements are, and then also using a formal agreement, which is attached, I think, to what I gave you. It should be on the last page. So if you want to review those, and if you want to discuss tonight, we can. Otherwise, we can discuss it the next meeting after you've had a chance to go through it and decide what you want to do.
Everybody like to wait, or we all set to vote on it? Woody, you good to vote?
I'm good, sir.
All right, so it looks like we're gonna vote on it.
All right.
Looking for a motion to accept the policy and use agreement for Town of Madison property
Building use.
the building use. And I think it's a good thing to have. I mean, we gotta know who's in the buildings and what space is available and what are they doing in the building. So, any other questions? All right, we've talked about this for quite a while, so I think it's time probably to vote. All right, all those in favor?
You don't have a motion.
Oh, we gotta have a motion,
I
I'm
have to make a
sorry.
motion.
Man,
I'll make that a motion to accept the policy and purpose use agreement for the, I guess it's
Buildings.
just this building.
Building.
Buildings. Town buildings.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the policy and purpose use agreement for all town buildings. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, motion carries. All right, number 3, discuss matching grant payment. Seems so perfect, for $3,750.
Yes, I have the receipts that they sent in, and it would come out of the ARPA funds, where is it? For miscellaneous government revitalization, small business grants. So there's a balance of $23,875 right now.
Okay, so looking for a motion to approve $3,750 for Seems So Perfect.
I'll make a motion that we approve the, I lost the amount.
3,700.
3,700 seems so perfect.
$3,750.
Sorry.
Second,
All right, so we have a motion and a second to pay the matching grant to Seems So Perfect that I believe we awarded
That was awarded
last August.
I have that too.
It was a while. Yeah, so.
That was in August
2022.
22. Yes, August
Expected
22.
just in time.
Yeah.
Seeing no other questions, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, number 4, Kennebec Valley Visitors Guide for 2024.
So you probably have seen the book, The Explorer, and there is there's a page for Madison, and Tim had set it up so that he had reached out to businesses within the town and got them as part of this backyard tip, I think it was, for advertising. So it comes out of that, it comes out of the TIF funds, and it's $1,000. We can save $100 if we decide that we're going to give him the check the same day that we sign the contract. So I don't think we can do that because the deadline is the 15th. So it would be $1,000.
So where does this go? I'm sorry.
It's in the visitor's guide, and it's also online. It's got a virtual link to it as well, so people that are coming into the area can come and see what's available for services and fun things to do.
Do these people pay to get?
They don't pay the town of Madison, no. That comes out of the TIF money for backyard farms.
All right, anybody like to make the motion?
Is it just allowed for one page or something?
It's $1,000 for one page.
For one page.
It's $2,000, no, I'm sorry, it's $1,900 for 2 pages.
So how many, you know, how many copies they have of that out? I mean, is that
Oh.
publication?
Like 30,000?
30,000.
So is that the latest one that we're?
This is the 2023, and this is for the 2024,
So they do it every year?
yes.
Okay.
So is it the same businesses or are there different ones?
Right now, it's the same business, some of the same businesses, I haven't reached out to all of them, but the ones that I have contacted have all said, yes, they would like to continue. And if there's someplace else that you would like to have added in there, or see, like, I know, I don't know. I think that, you know, we can, this is a good representation of what we have in Madison, but if there's somebody that should be on there that's not there, you know, we can work it. We can shrink the picture and put more businesses there.
Can you make it more like a, if you add more businesses, could you make it like a 3-column?
We could try that, yeah.
I don't know if you get everything in, but.
Yep. So if there's anything that you think should be in there, just, you know, we can add them.
All right, looking for a motion to spend $1,000.
I'll make a motion to spend $1,000 for this advertisement with the understanding that we will reach out to try to add more businesses.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to pay $1,000 to the Kennebec Valley Visitors Guide for 2024. With the understanding we reach out to other businesses in town. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, motion carries. All right, number 5, October Select Board meeting dates. We have a meeting scheduled on October 9th, which is Columbus Day. So we have the second meeting scheduled for the 23rd. All right, so we're going to move this, or we're not going to have one. I just assume move one meeting, not 2. So I'd like to leave the 23rd one in its place and either not have a meeting on the 9th or move the 9th to the 16th. So I don't think we can get into moving 2 meetings. That would just get craziness going. We don't need craziness. So what is our thoughts?
Depends on how much we have to cover. Probably. I mean,
Well, I think we
could
could-
just do one for October. Then.
Right. Can we wait until after our next September meeting to really decide? Because we're gonna talk about putting that property out for auctions.
Certainly can. You know,
Yeah.
we won't have that back. We won't have that information back before the end of October.
Oh, okay.
That's not.
Right,
gonna come
okay,
back
because it's
before
gonna be like
then.
the
Yeah,
30 day, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, do you
okay,
see
yeah.
much on the horizon? I mean,
No, I think we're covering some big things. We're getting some things pushed out of the way, so.
yep. So is
I
everybody,
think we do have a couple other things that are coming up, but not to the point where we need to have 2 meetings in October.
so we'll plan on one on the 23rd, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at our meeting on what's it, the 25th of September.
All right,
Is that okay? Okay. All right, select board's concerns, Mr. Moody.
Nope, none, sir.
Mr. Dean?
Only one I have, and it's not a hit towards it, I've had a few citizens voice concerns over the Somerset County Sheriff speed sign just after the high school, that it flashes all the way down to 50 miles an hour, and out-of-staters have hammered the brakes in front of people because it's a 40-mile-an-hour zone.
okay.
I don't know if they can set that so it stops flashing under 40.
A little confusing.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like it's set at 25.
No,
Yeah.
it's at 15, I think.
When I was 22.
Yeah, it goes down to like 50.
Yeah.
It should calm me down a little bit. So you'll check into that?
I will.
That's all I got.
Okay. So what?
I'm fine, thank you.
Estes?
And I'm also.
Okay. I have none. Citizens' concerns.
You're right here.
Yes, sir.
I'm concerned about the
Could
spraying.
I get you to say your name and where you
Mitchell
live?
Plord,
Yep.
and I live on Blackwell Hill Road, Madison.
Yep.
And I'm concerned with the spraying that's coming up on that road as well as other roads
Okay.
concerning the Japanese knotwood. Does anybody have an MSDS sheet on this?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have it in hand?
Yep.
Cool.
Now,
Is this one of the three chemicals or?
yeah, I don't know where you want me to jump in. I'll just sit here and try to be good, how's that?
Well, if you have information for that, I mean,
Okay.
I don't.
May I use that table?
Sure.
Thanks.
You are the vendor that's gonna be doing the spraying, so
That's correct.
this is Mr. Jerry Lynch.
I don't get called Mr. very often.
Do you need help? Are you good?
Now, the questions are good. The product that we have used for the last 8 years, I believe, is Roundup Quick Pro. And that may be a little off because when I first started, there was a bid put out for spraying the curbing here in Skowhegan because there was overgrowth of vegetation and so on and so forth. When we, I'm an old guy trying to remember way back, but when we took that, there was a discussion at that time between Glenn, Tim, myself, and in that the selectman is still, if he's still on, I think, a couple of the selectmen, about, we've got an overgrowth of knotweed. Japanese knotweed is normally called by all of us normal folks bamboo. And Glenn said, is there any way you can get rid of it? And I said, not that I know of. We can suppress it, hold it back, but unless we can take out everything, you're not gonna get rid of it. And we only spray in the right-of-ways, you're only allowed to spray in the right-of-ways. And so typically that's 10 feet off each side of the road, sometimes shorter, sometimes bigger. So we decided to use that approach. I reached out to a couple of colleges that were doing some study in Michigan State University, and they said the best way to do it would be after it flowered. Number one, you don't hurt your pollinators, and when you spray, because the plant is taking it back into the ground, because the flowering is over, now the energy is going back into the ground, you have the best chance of getting the weeds. Not the weeds, the roots, I'm sorry, and rhizomes. I'm sorry, I'll try to make this as short as possible, I promise.
We're learning. We're learning.
Learning something.
And so, we tried it. And I believe at that time, we only used glyphosate. I don't throw things at me, I said that bad word, but we used glyphosate. It didn't do as well as we wanted, and so we came back and we sprayed again. We got the kill that we wanted, and it was successful. Since then, we've started using another product that's mixed with the glyphosate called Diquat. Diquat strips the covering off the leaf, the wax, the cuticle off the leaf. That allows the sun to get to it, thereby you use less product. We're always trying to use less product because of all the reasons that probably this gentleman is here. And we did that for a while. That's been the product that we've used up until now. A few years ago, The selectmen asked me to look at other products, said other products out there, number one, that are, and this was for the curbing too, that are organic, was one concern. Another concern was that, so the weeds didn't come up at all. He said, I don't like to see those weeds come up along the curb. Can they just be taken care of? And so we checked that out. And then alternatives to what we were using. The answer was organic was unbelievably expensive. It was called lemon. There's one called Avenger and there's another one called Lemonella. It smells great, by the way, but it just, you have to reapply it 3 or 4 times a year, and it was just prohibitive. A pre-emergent, that would be the one where the weeds didn't come up at all, is also very expensive because you have to spray everything because you don't know where the weeds are coming up. So you have to spray all of the curbing. It almost quadruples the amount of liquid you're putting out. I'm getting it, honest to God. And the last one was, and that's why we went with what we had. And that's called Roundup Quick Pearl, okay? Or it's not always Roundup, sometimes it's just glyphosate and dicot together. It's just the same thing, it's just made by someone else. As most of you are aware, about 2 years ago, a gentleman took Monsanto. By the way, no one likes Monsanto, including us. But anyway, took them to court. He got a $288 million settlement because he said that the glyphosate caused cancer. That's an argument. You'd be here a real long time if we went into that. But basically, just to give you an example, the Agricultural Department of California says yes. All the other 48 agricultural departments say no. The World Health Organization says no. There's a couple of others that say yes. So we don't know. And in our business, this really isn't a big money maker for us. So we said, look, let's start looking around and see what else we can find that will let people reduce the safety hazard, have good-looking streets, and still work. And we came up with, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's all right. No, I'd rather have an explanation.
Okay, we came up with a number of them. We also spray solar fields. And solar fields are a little different. You folks want everything killed. Solar fields only want the stuff that's going to grow above that high kill. So we use a product called Garlon. And Garlon kills all of the dicots, all of the broadleaves and that type of thing, but it leaves the monocots, which are the grasses. So that is a possibility because we've now started using that on knotweed. The nice thing about it, in the old approach, when we sprayed the knotweed, we killed everything. With this, we only kill the garland. I'm sorry, we only kill the knotweed. The grasses and that type of stuff stay behind. Okay? Some people don't want that, some people do. We also have another product that's called Cheetah Pro. It is, I'm sorry, I got to cheat on this one. It's called glufosinate. I know it sounds like glyphosate, but it's not. It's a totally different product, and I always mess it up. This product here has been approved to be used by the state on school grounds and so on and so forth, where glyphosate is not. okay? So, those are the three options. And that's the one on Carlin, and I have them for you guys too. Sorry, I'm having a hard time being a lefty.
That's all right. Are these for them?
Yeah, they, what's that one?
Safety data sheet, yeah.
That's Cheetah. Okay, and then the roundup kit, it's there.
Okay, these are for the board?
Yes. By the way, just to let you know, we're not the only ones spraying in the town. Others do it under different rules and regulations. The Madison Electric sprays all of their utility lines, and the Department of Transportation sprays all of the state roads. And what they spray for, deciduous and conifers, so that they don't get over 4 feet high. How'd I do?
You did great.
Keep going.
Mr. Lynch, one of the questions that came up was what happens to the residual chemicals when they get absorbed into the ground? Do they stay in the ground? Do they follow through with the water?
And don't I wish there was one answer to that question. The Cheetah Pro, and this is all in your safety plan. Your Cheetah Pro is a try not to mix it up. Let's start with the easy one. The glyphosate bonds quickly with the soil and remains with the soil. If it goes into the soil, if it goes into the water, it goes in as a non-active.
That's the Roundup Quick Pro? Okay.
The Cheetah Pro has runoff, but it is allowable in water. And I'm going to encourage you to read these really carefully and check what I'm telling you. Normally we just go in and do Roundup Quick Pro and leave, but and then the third one, the Cheetah Pro.
It was the Garion.
I'm sorry.
The Garion is the third one? You just went
The
through.
Garlon. I'm sorry, Garlon.
Garlon.
Garlon is usable around the water. I don't know what the residuals is, but it's the product that is used by the forest industry to spray their roads and that type of thing, and it is acceptable.
To drink.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't drink, but
Right.
I'm not sure if that's one of them. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you know, that's where animals get their,
yeah, no, if you look at the, I don't know if you gave everyone all of this stuff. Because
Oh, there's more?
I shouldn't have this much left over.
Okay.
Okay, do you have the,
I have the Roundup.
okay, that's the
Yep,
roundup.
yep, I gave
I
them
gave
that.
that to them, okay.
I didn't give them this stuff though.
Okay, that's, yeah, that's the product itself.
Okay.
And what is that one right there? Oh, that's Cheetah Pro. Okay.
That's Quick Pro. Oh, that one, yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Well, I think I have one that says Cheetah Pro, but it didn't look like that. Yeah, it is. Yes, yes.
No, you're fine. If you look under every one of these, it'll say environmental hazards. And if you take a look at Cheetah Pro, it says do not apply directly to water. Those are the ones that if we were spraying near a stream, we would use an alternative product. That product, I don't have the ADA with me, I'm sorry, SDS with me, but it's called Rodeo, and it is safe to use in water. It's one of the products that they're using. I don't know if any of you are kayakers, but if you've been down to Kennebec lately, the knotweed is just closing in on the sides. And that's one of the products they're looking at to spray along the banks to try to clear those up and bring them back to natives. The whole goal, all of this, is to get to a native population of plants.
The knotweed is not native?
Knotweed is what's called
An invasive species.
active invasive.
Do you think, just a quick question, that it's really thick this year? Do you think it's because of all the rain that we had
Yeah.
that made it, because it's.
This is a great year for anything you didn't want.
Yeah.
And it's
It was
it's
a
not
terrible
being cut
year,
back.
terrible year for tomatoes, but it was a
There are-
great year for, everything else they didn't want.
There are little being cut back on the sides of the road in this area, so targeting this one plant doesn't affect everything else that's still growing in that right away. I was wondering why are we spraying chemicals on one plant and ignoring, manually taking out that aisle.
You can take it out.
Well,
The problem with taking it out is you're creating erosion. And I'm not sure if I should
It was-
answer through someone or.
The roads were built with ditches, and you can't even see the ditches for the plants in the ditches.
That's right, but you just said take that out.
Yes, you would ditch the roads so the water would flow off the road, down the road, through the culverts, and you can't even see the ditches for the overgrowth of all these plants. What I'm saying is the maintenance isn't being done on that right of way. That right of way is from the ground all the way up, straight, and doesn't stop here where a sickle bar cuts, and then that's good, where the bushes still hang out over the road. The trees still come over the road where the trucks are actually clearing the way with the box trucks, are actually knocking branches down. It's,
So you're not opposed to removing what's in the way?
I'm not, I am pro clearing the way,
Yep.
not with a chemical. Just to be able to target one plant doesn't make any sense when the whole road needs work. And we already have one irrigation issue on Blackwell Hill, and the water already is tainted. You can see there's something going on there, and it's also rusty. There's cages over the drain openings. It's draining, but these cage openings are this tall and right next to a family's driveway, where if kids fall into it, they're falling right onto that cage.
Have you expressed this to the road commissioner?
I have a lot of things going on in my life, and when the spraying came up again, I don't like the chemicals. I don't like that chip seal.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's,
Wait a minute, I didn't do that. That's not mine.
but, you know, once you put that chemical, that chip seal down, and even if you come in and grind up that surface and reuse it, it's still contaminated. and it doesn't fix the cracks, they're still there. It didn't do a thing.
So I guess I don't, yes.
The road commissioner did tell me about the culvert that he had to clear out on Blackwell Hill Road. He put the cages in there because there was a beaver family that was building a dam inside the culvert. That's what the cages are for, is to keep the beavers out.
All right, so can we get them to go and reassess the sides of the road, and if there's anything we can do to mitigate using chemical, I guess?
Take a ride down. You'll see.
Well, I'm not an expert at that. so
No, you don't have to be an expert. You just,
He is planning on reditching that area.
Okay.
That, he's already said that.
I just as soon assign to get the expert to go do and deal with that, rather than me guessing, because I usually guess wrong. So, but I would like to hear his opinion of what can be done there to bring it back to where you think it should be. Or where it should be. I mean, I'm
Where
not-
it should be,
yeah,
yes.
where it should be, not
Yes.
necessarily where you think it should be, but where it
well,
should be.
you're right.
Right.
The road is owned from the center line to a certain distance off each side.
Right.
And, I mean, I have some invasive rocks that tear up my lawnmower terribly.
Yeah.
I mean, anything you could do with those.
Are they growing on the
So
lawn?
So when are you planning to spray these?
Whenever you guys tell me to
Okay,
describe
I'd
it.
like to get his opinion on what can be done out there.
The,
and see if we can-
the
see
thing
if
that
we
I'm a
can-
little
you know,
foggy on is what would your end product look like? What do you want it to look like?
The way it was built.
And what
When
would
it was built,
And what would
that road,
and what would that be? Bare gravel?
Are you talking about the sides of the road, Ms. Lynch?
Yeah.
he's talking about the sides of the road.
Okay,
And he's making, he's making money on one plant. As a property owner on that road,
Mhm.
I'm concerned with the dead branches coming over on dead trees that are on the side of the road within that lane.
They're still in the right of way, as you're saying?
They are, and the money is being ignored on that. We have power lines that trees are growing right up through. And I'm sure that when we lose power, we're concerned why that wasn't maintained to begin with.
And that's one thing you need to talk to Central Maine Power about.
Now you do, yes.
But,
Now you do, yes. But before, when it was this tall,
Yep. So I think we need, before we go any further, we need to get the road commissioner to go out and take a look at it and see what he thinks can be done. What we can do to make it better. I mean, we've put a lot of money into Blackwell Hill Road over the years, and if we're not taking care of the sides of the road, then we have to do that.
I think,
and I'm speaking just as one person on
Yeah.
Blackwell Hill. I don't know what these other roads look like, but I can only,
And we'll take a look and get his opinion.
one of the things that would be helpful for me, when we do this type of work on an ongoing basis, when I go to a solar plant, I said, what do you want this to look like? Some people want bare ground, some people want grass, some people want, I still don't have a clear,
idea of what I expect.
yeah,
Nature, maintain what's there without chemicals, without, it used to be what jobs were. People actually worked and did the maintaining of keeping that growth from impeding on that zone. Everything else is the property owner.
You're talking about like the tree maintenance and the grass mowing and things like that on the right-of-way area?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was, like I said, a sickle bar did run down that one side and down the other, but that takes care of anything that's growing that tall. And then if the bush, tree, whatever, is a foot higher than that, that sickle bar can't cut it, and it's still coming out towards that tractor.
so, and I don't wanna take up any more time, but Are you saying that if we went and sprayed Garlon and left,
I don't want anything sprayed, personally. And I know that I have neighbors that have animals and children, and
let's get that straight, okay? I have grandchildren, I live on the lake, I'm not gonna put anything on these roads I wouldn't put on my own property, or haven't put on my own property. I love my kids too, okay?
So I think we gotta get the road commissioner to take a look. I think it's bigger than just, it's bigger than
No,
just the knotweed. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just putting chemical on there.
it is, and the chemical is not gonna,
If there's trees hitting
heal
box
anything.
trucks, then we need to figure out a way to fix it. And maybe we need to contact Central Maine Power.
and that's just not here, that's everywhere around the state.
yes.
Mr. Lynch, is there a time frame within which it's more efficient or effective to do this spraying as opposed to other times of the year? Or is it, can be done anytime?
No, it has to be done,
In the fall and in the spring, right?
no, it can't be done anytime, but you're gonna use a lot more powerful chemicals than what we're talking about right now. If you're trying to use the least disruptive chemical after it flowers in the fall, is when you wanna do it. And you wanna do it before the knotweed automatically shuts down. In other words, the first heavy frost, you've no longer got translocation going into the roots. And so you're not gonna kill it, you're basically helping the plant grow. So,
So before the first heavy frost? Okay.
So if he could get us some information on that and what they can do, what the town guys can do, if they can do anything, I mean.
It's actually a beneficial plant. Aside of being invasive, there's a lot of benefits in this plant.
that's correct. It was brought in because it's a pretty plant and it stops erosion. The problem is you can't control it. It's killing out all kinds of natural plants that we have, native plants that we have. And that's why it was identified.
I just do think that, given enough time, you can find, everything has its own enemy. And if we get enough chance to research this plant, we could probably find out what it doesn't like naturally and go at it like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. I don't have a hand to shake, so I appreciate it.
Before we move on, thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Oh, no problem, and I'm sorry my cell phone went off. My granddaughter changed my screen. Apparently decided that my ringer should be working.
You mentioned something about the American Legion.
American Legion, yes. Would you like to come up? So, we have in the works, or in discussion, the opportunity to swap land with the American Legion so that the property behind Rennie's. Okay. Mr. Price, he's the post commander?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Post commander has reached out to me a few times, asking for where we're at with this. What's the situation and the status? And so, I don't know exactly what the status is. I think it's appropriate that I reach out to the town attorney to make sure that what we're doing or what we want to do is actually the right thing to do, and we do it in the right way.
Yeah, he's aware of that, and maybe Mitch could help with that a little bit too, if we need him.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to proceed, but we want to do it the right way.
Yes.
Okay, so that, we won't have an answer for you tonight.
Okay,
That's the bad news. The good news is we do want to proceed.
We are moving forward, and we.
well, correct, our
as soon as we get
understanding
some
was,
information from the attorney, and Mitch, I think Mitch also was involved in that quite a bit.
Yes.
and that was what we were told last time, is that you guys would have to go through legal first. We were just wondering if you in fact had a definite
I believe
marching
he-
order for us.
I believe he did go through them, and I don't know if we have an answer.
I
yet.
know, he didn't, because when I reached out to Ken today to ask, he said this was all new to him. So that's why he and I are gonna meet and
Maybe you can
discuss
get-
it.
Maybe you can get Will to come in and go over it with you.
Okay,
In your office.
okay,
I mean, maybe you and Will can go into her office.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
So she can kind of bring her up to speed. Apparently Mitch didn't bring her up to speed.
well, he brought me up to speed, but he didn't bring Ken up to speed,
Oh, okay. Better bring everybody along.
On a project this big, absolutely.
so.
No, well, we thank you, that's the only reason why I was here, is because
Yep.
we hadn't heard,
Well,
the last thing we did here was it was gonna go to legal
I
first.
thought you were here because you liked us.
Well, I mean, actually, it is actually nice to watch a town meeting,
Yes, yeah.
but I appreciate it, folks, thank you.
So I would say you can reach out to Will.
Yeah, can you grab one of my business cards back on the back table, please?
Absolutely.
And just shoot me an email or call me and I will, get a meeting set up.
Excellent, thank you, man.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, folks.
Thank you, yep. All right, looking for motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:35.